Ois Gimel. V'hinei kol hamshochas oinev v'rotzin elyin b'midas hamlucha. So before he said the chlal that what we're doing on Rosh Hashanah, we're building the melucha. There has to be the level of Hashem's delight and the desire in the midas hamelucha. How does this all take place? So the entire hamshocha of the delight and the rotzin elyin in the measure of melucha to be a melech mimekoir kol hatanugim, from the source of all the delights, that is through the shofar, shehu shel ayil, which is of an ayil. So what's the connection? Why it's an ayil? So the ayil's shoydish is from the level of tohu, as we will see. And because it's from the level of tohu, that's why it is able to be mamshech from the source of all the tanugim. For behold, the root of the animal soul, where does the animal soul rooted in? We have the various different, on the chariot, we have the faces of a lion, the face of an ox, the four faces over there, as described in the Novel Yecheskel. So the nefesh of the behemoth is rooted in Ari and Shorsh of Merkava. Where do the Pnei Ari, Pnei Shorsh of Merkava, where is their Shorsh? Shorsh of Mechinas behemoth Barari Olaf. They come from the level of behemoths on the mountains of Olaf, but that is Shem Mechinas HaToyu. That is the level of Toyu. So the Pnei Ari and Pnei Shoir come from the behemoth Barari of Toyu. Hine Yedua, that it's known, Shemi Pnei Ha'oiris, the Toyu, Hoyu, Beribu, V'Toykev Godel, that because the oiris of Toyu were so much and so forceful, Lo Yochlu HaKelim Lizbeil Ha'or, so the vessels were not able to tolerate that light, and Valkain, and therefore is Naflu, is they fell. That's why we had the Shuris HaKelim, Alkain Naflu HaKelim, and that's why the Kelim fell. V'nishbaron, they broke. Where did they fall? The place they fell was in the world of Bria. That is the Merkava. The Merkava is in Bria. That's where the Pnei Ari, the Pnei Shoir is. And that is where they fell from the Shviras HaKelim, from Toyu, from the behemoths Baharari Olaf. This explains, because we're saying they come from a higher source, and that's why the nature of the animal, that it has more subjugation than a person does, because it has it from a higher source, because the shoydish is from a higher place, so therefore it has a greater level of bittul. So he's going to explain now. So why is there more bittul? A person gets the level of das that comes from the world of tikkun. Behema doesn't have das, doesn't have brains, it doesn't have das, knowledge. B'hainu, and there is mipnei sheshorshu l'maylo min hadas b'chinasei l'matu. It comes down below das because it's higher than das. It comes from the level of matu. So now that we know where the behema comes from, so now we understand why shofar is why we use an animal shofar. So we specifically blow in the shofar behema. Sheyeshba b'chinas bittul yoser, which has more bittul. So we use that in order to arouse, to be ma'orer, the level of bittul which is higher than das. And that itself is also the reason why do we use just a very simple sound for the tekiah? Hayoytze mehevel halev shadayin leboli degilui v'ishes klal. It is from the heart. It's a kol poshut that has not yet come to the level of revelation in letters. It's not expressive yet. It's the heart. The letters eventually they have a lalev, then there's words, but this is talking straight from the heart. It has not been revealed to Yisrael Klal. So why is that? Because it comes from the inner point of the heart. It does not come at all to revelation of letters. So that's why this is the level of Kol Pashut. This is the level of L'mayla min Hadas. This is the level of Nekudas Halev, which doesn't come out through Eisius. Ki ha'Eisius Sharshom b'Chochma shebemoyach. Because the letters, the shape, those are rooted in the level of Chochma, which is the Moyach. And Bechinas, Hevel Hazeh HaYetz Bechinas Kol Pashut. And this Hevel that comes out in a simple sound, Bechinas Pnimi, Bechinas Pnimis Nekudas Halev, Shelemayla Ma'Chochma shebemoyach. That is the level of the inner of the heart, the point of the heart, which is higher than Chochma shebemoyach. So when we talk about Chochma shebemoyach, that's already Oisius come from there. That's already a tzir, that's a shape. Chochma shapes it. But when we talk about the point of the heart, that's when it's higher. And what we're trying to accomplish is we want to bring out from the higher level. Shofar is to bring down from the higher level. So explain this. So it's known that there is two types of voices. Aleph anikra koil hadibur. One is called the voice of the speech. Shagamhu yotze mehevel alev. That also comes from the ear, the heat of the heart. Achu b'bechinas chitzonis alev. But it comes from the externality of the heart. Sheheim bechinas hamidas shebelev. Those are the emotions that are in the heart. They extend the mishoches ad lemato min hadas. So the midas, they come from the moichin the chochma bina that goes beyond das. Shadas mamshich hasechel shebemoichel alev. The das is sort of the intermediary that takes and draws down the moichin, the chochma bina, until it brings it to the heart. That's the koil hadibur. That's the voice of dibur. Voice of the dibur is already a formatted. It's a koil of dibur because dibur is oisios. Oisios are formatted, and that is only the externality of the heart, and as the midas of belief that come from the level of Moichin Chochma Bina through Das. Aval b'chinas koil pashut. Hayotzem hevel hapnimi shebum kodelibom. That is the level of the simple voice that goes out of the inner, not the chitzonis, but the inner hevel, which is in the depth of the heart. Shulamayla ma'aseichel. That's not nimshach through the seichel like the other level of koil hadibur. It's beyond seichel. The yoisoi pnimis arotzit shebilti mugbal b'seichel, because it's the inner will. It is not a logical. It's not a will that is based on the logic. It's not mugbal. So l'chein ukoil pashut. That's why it's a simple voice. There's no hagbala there. For example, psychopanim is a sudden yell, a person screams out all of a sudden. Shebo menukudas emek halev, that comes from the point of the depth of the heart. Liyos is pilus be'etzem hanefesh mamish. That is an excitement in the essence of the soul. You scream out, kimoi, soak libam el Hashem. They cry out their heart to Hashem. B'chinas tzaikazu, and this level of screaming, this is higher than the root of oises, which comes from chokhmah. So that is the level of the behema shofar that comes from a behema, which comes from the higher level, and that's the voice, the koil pashut, that comes from the hevel, which is higher, the pnimis halev, which is beyond the moichin, beyond the seichel. By blowing a mitzvah with a simple voice and a rotzen halev rusud liba shebechinas l'maylam and hadas, which is in a level is higher than das, u'lemaylam bechinas oisius, and higher level oisius. Ba'oirer gamkein l'maylam bechinas keser. So that brings out also above the level of Keser, which is higher than Chochmah Das. And it draws down the oineg in a way of melucha, to be delighting from the bitlayesh. And that's why we blow in a shofar, which one side is short, narrow, and the other side is wide. Like it says, min hameitzar korosi yudke, anoni b'merchav yudke. So the level is bittul hayesh. That's the meitzar from the level of yesh to be mevatel it, and you get b'merchav. You get from the level of Keser, the Dailamid. The Hainu Tkiya Rishoina, and this is the Tkiya Rishoina, this is the first Tkiya. See here.